So the diorama's finished, the tank's finished, the men are finished. Let's show you what the final processes were. Great. Hello, welcome to the Scale Model Club. This is the last of the episodes on the infantry, the tank and the diorama. We built it last week. We gave it a brown coat and a grey coat in the wall. I've washed the wall with a dark brown, and this is a wash from AK called mud, European mud. And we're just going to wash this over the tracks where the tanks drive up and down, make it look a little bit wet, a little bit darker than the other mud. And as it's a wash, it literally just falls into darker in all the nooks and crannies and puddles, and lighter on the upside. You can't really see it from above, but so literally paste that on with a big wide brush. It's more of a paint than a wash, but it's not quite thick enough for a paint, so you get a colour out of it, but unlike a wash where it's sort of translucent and then darker, this thing's a little bit more, got a little bit more pigment in it, so you get a bit more colour out of it. Hope everybody's well. Thanks everybody for watching and subscribing on the last couple of videos. I quite enjoyed this one. It has actually finished up quite nicely. I'm very impressed with the base. That's quite good. Very good. You probably could make it yourself out of household items, but it seems a lot nicer to start off with a nice diorama. The wall doesn't fit very nicely, but I find ways around that, as you see. So that's the main road through the middle, almost done. Looking very muddy. It's just it's an enamel wash, or not wash, it is an enamel wash, and it's so that's a little bit of white spirit there to clean the brush. And the next thing we need to do is to find something to make it look a little bit dusty at the edges, because obviously a road never looks never one colour, and this is a pigment called European Earth. So just tap that on up the middle. Usually put it on by brush, but it's on quite a large area, so I'm going to be using it. Put it down the side of the wall and down the side, basically the sides of the road. Get yourself a nice stibbly brush and just work it in. Just break it all up, work it in, brush it about, and it'll give it a dusty look rather than a painted look. So it looks like the tracks have churned up the mud in the middle, but the bits on the side are just starting to dry out. Gives a good contrast as well, so that it gives the eye something to look at and something to follow, rather than it just being all one colour. I'm not 100% sure if this is how you should or shouldn't use it, but I just get some quite nice results out of doing this. So let's work that in, brush it up and down, brush it backwards and forwards, get a little bit more in there to get that to the end. You want to do this with an older brush as well, so that you don't ruin the nice brushes, because this does have a tendency to ruin your brush. But it's good stuff, and it has a really good effect. Really must try it all over the top of the tank at some point to see if it sort of gives the outside of the whole tank a very dusty look. So that's there. You can just wash that with the normal paint wash, with the normal paintbrush cleaner. Now the next thing I pick is either the actual wall is painted two different colours. There's a light grey and there's the odd brick I painted dark grey just to give it a little bit of like they've used lots of different types of bricks to build the wall. And this is the darker of the two greys that I'm now going to pick out all the stones and bits and pieces that are lying on the floor that I've now just covered in dirt. Once I've picked out the stones, so you can see them in the grey colour against the brown, I will give them a quick going over with the dark wash, just so you can sort of see the edges and bits and texture of the brick. There's quite a lot of debris lying around. So that's the rocks all painted, picked out and finished off, so you can see them. Next we need to grab hold of clean the brush and then grab hold of some washes to make it all look a bit more muddy. mossy. So I've got hold of my washes, and the first one I think I put down is I think that's a green wash. Is this one I put on the wall? No, it's a brown, so it's a dark brown, but it's not quite as dark as the... Well, this is a wash, not quite as dark as the road. So in this, you'll keep that same kind of brown colour, but it will be a lot darker in the holes and bits and pieces. And it also softens the line between that, like the light earth and the mud that the tracks are digging up. It's like a lot of stripes, really. But all I'm going to, the only place I'm going to put this is at the bottom here, because it dries a lot brighter than it looks here. This looks like the same kind of colour, but it dries a lot brighter. Also, I'm going to dry brush over the top of it so that you really pick out the top of the dirt with the same brown colour that I painted it with, flat earth. So this is a strong tone wash on here, and then over the top of that I will dry brush a flat earth colour, and that softens it all a little bit more. So there we go, I think I've got everywhere there. Surprising how much wash it actually used. Just try and make that blend the pigment and the wash together just along the edge. Now the wall being grey and then light washed over with a dark wash, like a black, so that it picks out all the individual stones. I thought the next thing it really needed was like a slightly green hue to it, make it look a little bit mossy. So I grabbed the green military shade and washed all across the bottom where the moss would be really heavy, and then did a few lines across the top and bottom to make the whole wall look a little bit green, a little bit mossy and mouldy. That's the green. It's a lovely pack I bought. It's from Army Painter, and there's about 15 or 16 different shades of washes. They're more of a filter than a wash, really. So this one's a green that goes across the bottom, so it gives the bottom, the wall, like I said, this like a green undertone, like it's been a bit mossy. And then paint it up and down the wall, set up and down the wall, so it looks like there are places where the water's run down and it's caused it to be a bit mossy. And it's getting near the end now, so I think we're just looking at a bit of a dry brush and fitting some grass to it. Right, so what I've done here is I fitted the grass to it, and I will just quickly show you how I did that. So I've got some PVA glue in the middle there, that's white. I dip it on my brush, paint it on the background, and just before that dries, I'll gather some grass fleck, green fleck together, and just sprinkle it on a bit like salt and pepper. And then you let it go off and it sticks to the PVA and looks like grass down the middle of the road there, and a few other bits. Now the brown I've got there is the dark brown earth colour. Now I've wiped all the paint off of the brush, and now I'm just going to lightly run it up and down the earth just to give some highlights to the top pieces. of the stones and the dirt. The more colour contrast you can put onto everything, the better it is, because it just gives your eyes something to track with, rather than it just looking like a piece of painted plastic. Well, thanks everyone for watching this. It's been a really enjoyable build. The photos have been taken, I'll put them at the end of the thing, and they do look nice, and I'm quite pleased with how it came out. So if you are too, drop some comments at the end of the video. Make sure you like and subscribe the video, push the bell button for notifications, and stay safe everyone, and hope you all stay fit and well. See you next time.